Oh, you.
Recording in progress. Yeah, we used to have name badges, but people used to forget to bring them, and they used to fall over, and various other things. So it worked okay, but
You only need it for the first couple of weeks, I'm sure.
oh, not with my memory, Carl. No, not with my memory. My memory for
Also,
names
for us students, you've got to remember
is
it's harder to get out of saying things in class.
yeah. My memory for names is worse than my memory for Spanish conjugated verbs, I can tell you. Anyway, let's get going. Buenos días y
Buenos días.
bienvenidos a la lección 30 de la clase de español.
30.
Sí, sí. ¿Qué tenemos esta semana? Tenemos la tarea de la semana pasada y puedes decir 4 más verbos irregulares. Y we're going to start to talk about getting around. We're trying to make our lessons of practical use. So traveling around for a few weeks, and then we'll do booking hotels and complaining about our hotels, and
As we do.
as we need to from time to time. And we also have a little bit about the letter lo, the word lo. So, ¿estás listo? Empecemos. La tarea de la semana pasada. How did folk get on with that? This was fairly straightforward, I think. We're just trying to practice our verb conjugations a little bit with some regular sentences. So how did we do with these? I'm going to go down to the bottom of my list because the regular suspects are all at the top. So, Karen, how were these for you? Are you happy with these?
Yeah, I think they were okay.
Good. Good.
Queremos una mesa para dos, por favor.
I think that's exactly what I've got there. So perfect.
¿Qué quieres comer esta noche?
Muy bien. Quieres is the most likely. Quiere, if you're in, the waiter might ask you, ¿Qué quiere comer? But I think I did read somewhere that people in Spain were using the informal mood, and the formal was quickly dropping out of favour. It's all these young kids not bothering to show respect for their grandparents and older folk like us. Anyway, I want to see the wine list, please.
Quiero ver la carta de vinos, por favor.
Muy bien, muy bien. Quiero. I said la lista.
Yeah, I said la lista too.
La carta is perfectly good. You'd be understood. Can I swim here? Is it safe?
Puedo nadar aquí. Es seguro. Seguro.
Seguro. Es seguro. Muy bien. Don't forget just a bit of inflection on the end of a question, and where it's not obvious that it's a question. So what you're saying is it is safe. You need to say es seguro. Puedo nadar aquí. And we can go for a walk this afternoon.
Podemos ir para un caminar esta, I can't remember afternoon,
Esta tarde.
esta tarde.
See. Now, I have a slightly different one here. To go for a walk, you're not wrong. What you said is perfectly okay. But the Spanish go for a walk is dar una vuelta is very common. It's like take a turn, I suppose. We'd say, shall we take a turn around the estate after breakfast? Or shall we take a turn around the village? Or dar un paseo is another common phrase for taking a walk, rather than going for a trek, which is sort of caminar. So podemos dar una vuelta esta tarde is what I would try to remember in that situation. Well done, Karen. Excellent that. 5 more.
Eric.
Yes.
In number 4, I put se permite nadar aquí.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
It is. What one is permitted to swim here? Yeah. That's fine. Perfect. I mean, with all of these, there are several ways to say it. In truth, so that's perfectly good. And if anybody's got alternatives, do shout up, because it's useful to see them. So Leslie, we've not had you for a little while. Do you fancy a crack at these 5?
Not as easily as the first 5.
Oh.
Necesito mis gafas para poder ver.
Sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, necesito mis
good.
gafas. Mis gafas, not mi gafas, because it's plural. You're quite right there. You could also say los lentes or los anteojos. Lentes is fairly common. I've never heard anybody say anteojos for glasses. But you do get lentes from time to time. Gafas is the one I remember, and that's the one I always use. Can you pass me the sauce, please?
Puedes pasarme la salsa, por favor.
Muy bien. Bang on. Puedes pasarme. You can all, the pronoun me can be hooked on the end of the verb in the infinitive, as I have done there, puedes pasarme, and that sounds quite good to me. You may also hear me puedes pasar. I'm yawning again, and I had a good night's sleep last night. That's all with me. You could say me puedes pasar la salsa, por favor. You will hear that also. You might hear some rude person simply say pásame la salsa as a command, but you're bang on, Leslie. This chocolate cake is delicious.
Este pastel de chocolate es delicioso.
Perfect. You could say rico instead of delicioso. Rico is. I tend to remember rico because my daughter-in-law was always trying to encourage her children, her babies, to eat, and she'd be saying "que rico" in an encouraging voice as they spat out their porridge.
Can that also mean rich, Eric?
It does mean rich, but it also means delicious.
Right. So it's so rich in taste as well as rich in money.
Yeah. The house is in front of the church, Leslie.
La casa está enfrente de la iglesia.
Muy bien, perfect. Yep. I am going to order the fish.
I looked this one up because I couldn't remember order. But anyway, yo voy a pedir el pescado.
Muy bien, muy bien. Voy a pedir el pescado. Don't forget, pedir means to ask, but you know, it also means to order. So I'm going to ask for the fish. I'm going to order the fish. In certain bits of South America, you may hear ordenar rather than pedir. Particularly Mexico, apparently, but they'd understand. Voy a pedir. I'm going to order. Perfectly good. Well done, Leslie. That's excellent. You got them bang on. And we'll move on now to our regular. It's now a regular feature. Puedes decir. So we're working through that rather long list. These are useful things to know, useful things to remember. So let's go up to the top and let's ask Apple. Apple, puedes decir lo contrario de detrás, encima, dentro y lejos.
Contrario de detrás es delante de.
Delante de, muy bien.
Contrario de encima es debajo de.
Muy bien.
Contrario de dentro es afuera de.
Afuera, sí, sí.
De lejos, cerca.
Cerca, muy bien. So that was bang on. Detrás, delante de. The only thing is, for buildings, you tend to use enfrente or frente de, and for time, if we were talking about time, which we're not here, I don't think, we'd use antes for being ahead in time. So that's that. Debajo de is the correct opposite to encima. You may also say bajo. It doesn't have quite the same meaning. Bajo can mean under, but it also means low. So it has a similar sense, but debajo de would be more precise. And afuera or fuera de is outside. Lejos, cerca is better. You may have said por allí. That would be okay, but it means nearby rather than near. So there's a subtle difference, not much of one. So puedes decir tres asignaturas. We've got a lot of choices here, haven't we? So shall we we'll ask Jane if she'll do 3 or 4, or if you've got a list, Jane, crack on with it. But we'll see if any people have got other suggestions.
Inglés, matemáticas,
Sí.
ciencias, geografía,
Sí.
historia,
Sí.
francés, and I've got arte and
Yeah.
español.
Okay. You're good on your languages. So, does anybody? And what was the second one you said? I didn't catch that.
Matemáticas.
Oh yeah, and after that,
Ciencias.
Yes.
Is it ciencias? I wasn't quite sure.
science. Yeah. Excellent, good. Anybody have any other suggestions?
Musica.
Musica, CC. You've got to have a. You don't forget your Finland. U. It's got to be music.
Musica.
Music.
Musica. Musica.
As they say in Peterborough. Musica. Sí. Muy bien.
Física,
Física. Sí. Physics. Yeah.
biología,
Sí. Muy bien.
química,
Química. Sí.
Diseño y tecnología.
Muy bien. I've got. I think I've got a couple that we've not had. I said lenguas modernas, matemáticas, geografía, historia, literatura, gramática, química, física, biología, geología, carpintería, I beg your pardon, and metallisteria.
What about religion?
They do resistant materials in school now, don't they, rather than woodwork and metalwork.
About religious education?
Yeah, go on. What would you say for that?
I don't know. I was asking. Religion.
Educación religio, I would say, but yeah.
Yeah, whether they translate it literally the same way, I don't know.
I don't think they do that anymore. I think it's called something like ethics and something.
Yeah. What was it? They did. I'm not school governor anymore, but it used to pop up, and we used to have a governor who was responsible for it because it was the government seemed to be pushing a sort of cultural agenda, so that we were expected to learn British values. I think one of the things was, but it came into that. Yeah. Right. What was the last one? Puedes decir 5 nacionalidades europeas. So, Carl, you're a much-travelled man. What can you suggest?
Europaíses, Italia, España, Reino Unido, Alemania, and Austria.
Austria. Sí, muy bien. Other suggestions from anybody?
Sueco
for what's
Swedish.
Sweden. Suecia.
Suecia.
Oh, nationality. Yes, Sueco. I beg your pardon. Yeah. Muy bien. Well done, Jane.
Escocés.
Sí.
Inglaterra.
Inglés,
rather.
Inglés, sí. O inglesa.
Have we said
Finlandia.
Irlanda, sí.
Finlandia.
So the country is Irlanda, and the nationality would be Irlandes.
Apart from I said Finlandia.
Finlandes, sí. Yeah. Good. It's worth remembering some countries. What I'm going to do when I send the updated lesson notes around, the corrections. Well, I haven't been any notified yet. I've got a list here of European countries and nationalities, so I'll send that round to you, and if you're really bored one evening, have a read of it. Well done. That's good. That's good. We'll do some more next week, and not nationalities. We'll do more of those on the puedes decir list, and see how we get on. So let's take a look at our irregular verbs. Now we're trying to this week's lesson is a bit of a head buster on verb conjugations, because you'll know if you look through the lesson notes yesterday, there's a lot of verbs, some new, some old favourites. So it's a lot of verb conjugation, which is a bit of a pain, but really important to get these in your head, and they do take a while to stick. You know, it's a bit like building something out of plaster of Paris. You slap it on and bits fall off, and some stick, and gradually more and more stick, and you end up with a piece of modern art that nobody wants to put on the sideboard. But the only way to do it is just to keep going, keep plugging away. So we've got we should be pretty good at conjugating our regular verbs, because they have nice predictable endings, but the irregular ones, and there's quite a few of them, we have to learn. Some are more difficult than others, so let's have a look at these. Ser. So Paul, what would you Paul, aka admin,
it's soy,
soy.
To eres, Elios, usted, es, nosotros, somos, vosotros, I think it's pronounced sois, S-O-I-S.
Sois.
That's it, sois. And Elios, elas, is son.
Son. Muy bien. Yeah, good.
Eric, Paul read out your left-hand column, and it's ella, usted, for the third person.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It's indeed.
Yeah. I've done that all the way through, I think. I must have done, because I've just copied it.
The typist read your A as an OS.
Yeah. Well done. We'll have to put that right when I do the what's name. So well done, Adrian. So while we've got you, Adrian, let's have you do tener with the corrected pronouns as well, if that's okay.
Yo tengo, tú tienes, él, ella, usted tiene, nosotros tenemos, vosotros tenéis, ellos, ellas, ustedes tienen.
Ustedes.
Well done. Yeah. So VD is a abbreviation for usted, and VDS is an abbreviation for ustedes. You'll see that from time to time in Spain, particularly old traditional Spanish. So tener is one of those verbs that changes the stem for some conjugations, and also introduces this go thing. There's quite a few of these so-called go-go verbs. I don't know why they can't say deno, bueno. It would be perfectly good. But there you go. There you go. Okay, da is the next one. And Caroline Ingram, what do you make of da?
Right, this is a nice one, isn't it? Doi, das, damos, dais, and dam.
Well done. Yeah, perfect. Bang on. And we tend not to use da so often, except as a an instruction. Give me dame, but that's when I most use it. Hacer. Ian, how's your conjugations coming along?
Slowly.
Slowly but surely. Yeah, I'm sure.
Hago, hacer, hasi, hacimos, hacies, and hacien.
Okay. We've got to. I know your mum always told you not to drop your H's, but we've really got to get rid of those H's. So hago, haces, hace, hacemos, haceis, hacen. It just disappeared. I don't know why they have an H in the Spanish language. Really, it's just to confuse us. Yeah, we need to ditch the H. If your mum was Spanish, she'd be saying, drop your H's, not sound them. Well done, everybody. It is difficult getting those stuck in your head, but the only way to do it is to keep plugging away, and it comes gradually. You're still going to forget a few, but because you don't use them all the time. I'm always forgetting the vosotros conjugations because you use them so little. Okay, so here's a little test. So let's see who's not gone yet. We've not had Abigail yet. Abigail, welcome. What's wrong with these sentences? Deliberate mistakes this time.
Yeah, so it should be soy de Inglaterra.
Yes, it should. Yeah.
Eric y Margaret son inglés.
Good.
Margaret y yo tenemos un perro.
Good.
¿Me puedes doy una cuchara?
Me puedes. Don't forget when you've got two verbs. It's a bit of a cunning.
Oh yes, da.
Da. See, you use it in the infinitive. Yeah.
Yeah. Margaret y Eric hacen los pasteles deliciosos.
Well done. Yeah. That's great. It's often a bit trickier getting the seeing what's wrong rather than knowing what's right. Although Adrian's pretty good at it when it comes to my lessons. I don't know what I'd do without him. We'd be making far more mistakes. Okay, so what time is it? It's exactly halfway through. So we're doing well. So I want to spend a couple of weeks talking about getting around, traveling around, buying tickets, checking times, asking what platform trains leave from, where the bus stops, and all those sorts of things. We're gonna start with a quick quiz. So, Giselle, do you know the Spanish words for these things?
El tren, el coche,
Correct.
el aeroplane,
Avión, 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 muy bien.
el autobús,
Sí,
el taxi,
it's an easy one.
metro, el metro,
It's the same, yeah, yeah.
don't know, ferry.
El ferry.
El ferry, okay. La estación del tren,
Sí,
el aeropuerto,
muy bien.
la estación del bus.
Sí, good, good, good. Yep. So, car is el coche. You in Latin America, coche is one of the things that you wheel a baby around in. So they call cars el carro or el auto. Autobus in Spain, bus in Latin America, taxi, el metro, el ferry. So yeah.
In the Canaries, they call a bus wawa.
A wawa.
El wawa.
Is that a particular kind of bus, Ian, or is it any
Well,
bus?
I imagine. Well, they're modern buses now, but whether there was something left over from Franco's days, I've no idea. But
yeah,
I mean, it is dropping away. But you sometimes see l'Estación de Wawa, and you think, what on earth's that?
They actually have it on the sign.
On a couple of the signs, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like a lot of things in Spanish, it seems to be changing over there. Whether it was local to Lanzarote and Tenerife and that, or I just don't know.
Yeah, it may have been. It may have been. I've not. When I've been to the Canaries, I'm usually just going from the airport to the hotel, and we tend to book a nice hotel, and it's all inclusive, and we just lie by the pool or in the bar or wherever. So I'm not
supposed to start sitting in the bar, not lying down.
I need to get out of it. How do they spell it? Is it GUA or?
Yeah, GUA. Wow. GUAHA, I think.
I'll try. I'll ask if that's used anywhere else. In Latin America, you get a lot of words from the indigenous languages coming through, and a wawa in Ecuador is a baby, which is it's quite easy to remember, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look. So when you're traveling around, you're going to need tickets and timetables and things like that, but you're also going to need some verbs to travel with, verbs that will be useful for you to ask where things are and how to get things. So querer, to want. Abigail, what are the conjugations for this? That is a common one, so I'm sure this is all lodged in our brains.
Yo quiero, tú quieres, él, ella, usted quiere, nos queremos, vos queréis, ellos, ellas, ustedes querían.
Quieren.
Quieren.
Quieren, yeah. Quiero, quieres, quiere. Queremos, queréis. Quieren. Yeah, perfect. Good. So that's to want, and you're going to use that with all kinds of things. So these are my useful verbs for travellers. I think if you want to not get stuck anywhere, then get these verbs in your head, and I think you'll be able to ask your way around, navigate your way around pretty well. So querer, to want to do something, is important. Ir, to go. Poder, to be able. Venir, don't worry about the V and the B. To come. Coger, to catch, although it also means to grab or to seize something, to grab hold of something. But coger, when it comes to trains and buses and planes, is perfectly good. In Mexico, it means something quite rude. I don't know why the Mexicans have to take the Spanish language and alter it in such dramatic and awkward ways, but you certainly don't want to coger un autobus. Volar means to fly. Llegar, to arrive. Tomar, to take. And viajar is to journey. Those in red, those that I've written in red, are irregular verbs, and those in green are regular verbs, so they'll have a nice predictable ending. So let's have a look at those. Ir is another one of these that we're using all the time, and so it sort of sticks in our head. And Paul, what can you conjugate ir?
Yo voy.
Voy, yeah.
Tu vas.
Sí.
Ella, ustedes va. Nos vamos. Vos vais.
Vais.
And ellos, ustedes van.
Oh. Perfect. Yep. So don't forget the infinitive is ir. It's quite different, and we do use ir in the infinitive quite a lot. So a sentence like puedo ir a Madrid en tren. Can I go to Madrid by train? Is, you know, is just the sort of sentence where you'd combine other verbs with to go, to ask questions. So use that quite a bit. We also use it, like we do in English, to create the future tense. If I can create the future tense using ir, I'm going to whatever, then I would do, rather than using the Spanish conjugations in the future tense. It's a lot easier. It doesn't always work, unfortunately. But how would you say these sentences, Paul? We are going to go to Madrid tomorrow.
Nos vamos ir a la Madrid mañana.
Yeah, absolutely.
A la mañana.
Mañana is fine, yeah. Yeah. Vamos a ir a Madrid. You do need the preposition when you're using ir. So, vamos a ir a Madrid mañana. Muy bien. We will eat here tonight.
Nosotros comemos here tonight. Here tonight's gone.
Here is aquí.
Oh, of course, aquí. Aquí.
And tonight is esta noche. Sí.
Esta noche.
Sí. I will do it later.
Ooh.
So I am going to do it later. Let's just think of it like that. Try to think of it like that. I am going to is I will. I
Oh,
go. So
would that be here again?
we'd use here. Yeah, I will do
Yeah.
it. So
Yo-
boya, I will. But I'm going to boya.
Yo voya.
Yeah. Boya. To do or to make is hacer.
Hacer. Oh yes.
Hacer. Yeah. Voy a hacer it lo.
Lo later.
And later is más tarde. Más tarde.
Más tarde.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. So vamos a ir a Madrid mañana. We will eat here tonight. We're going to eat here tonight. Vamos a comer aquí esta noche. And I will do it later. Voy a hacerlo más tarde. Now, there's one thing here that you can do that often gets you out of trouble, because when the Spanish are talking about something they're going to do, and they're going to do it imminently or even in the next day, they will often just say, and we do this in English as well a little bit, but they often will just say something like, we go to Madrid tomorrow, vamos a Madrid mañana, or instead of we're going to eat here tonight, we will eat here. They just say, we eat here tonight. Comemos aquí esta noche. So you will often hear them use that shortcut, and it's perfectly good Spanish. The question is knowing how far away you can use that shortcut. Use the present tense to describe something that's going to happen into the future. It's a bit of a black art, but you can certainly use it, and it's not a question of getting away with it. It's what the Spanish will do. So you're speaking like a Spaniard. Don't worry about that. Poder. Ian, we've used poder a lot. Can you remember the conjugations for poder?
Puedo.
Puedo, sí.
Puedes.
Sí.
Puedo.
Puede.
Puede and podemos.
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 Yeah.
Podes and pueden.
Pueden, sí.
Pueden.
Yeah, pueden. It's just annoying that they say puedo, puedes, puede, and then when you get to nosotros, it's podemos. So that's a bit annoying. So how would you say these? Have a crack at these sentences, Ian. Can we fly to Quito? So can we? How would you say can we? We are able to is what you're saying. That's a question. So
Podemos.
Podemos, yeah.
Podemos viajar.
Viajar is to journey, so volar is to fly. Viajar would work, actually. Volar to
Quito de Londres.
See, desde Londres, you probably say, but yeah. And what about this one? Can I get to Gijón by bus? So what about the can I bit first? Let's
Voy.
That's I'm going.
All right.
So can I use poder?
Puedo.
Puedo, sí.
Puedo. Yeah.
So in English we say get to, and when you break it down, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it really?
Puedo.
Can I get, as in going to a place? In Spain, they say, "Can I arrive at?" is the translation, and to arrive is. Do you remember? Llegar. Llegar.
Puedo llegar a Gijón a la autobús. A autobús.
En autobús.
En autobús.
Autobuses, yeah. En autobús. And a really useful one here. Can you help me, please? You can add at the end if you want no hablo español, just to help. Can you help me, please?
Well, puedo.
That's I can. So can you? Puedo is I am able. So are you able?
Puedas adieu mi por favor.
Okay, so we could say either puede, let's put it up. We'd either say puede or puedes, depending if it's a formal situation or informal. Ayudar means to help, and because it's in the infinitive, we can hook the pronoun on the end. So puede ayudarme, por favor. Can you help me, please? Worth getting that one tattooed on your arm if you're traveling around a lot, or just write it on biro if a tattoo is a bit painful. Okay, so we have tomar. Giselle, how can you conjugate tomar?
Yo tomo.
Yeah.
Tu tomas. Ella usted toma. Nos tomemos. Vos toméis. Ellos, ellas, ustedes toman.
Perfect. That's good. So we also use tomar a lot in the infinitive, and we also use the imperative mood a bit when we're telling somebody to take something. And if you've asked for help about how to travel somewhere, you may be told to take this train or take that bus, and so on. So the imperative mood comes in. So the imperative mood is when somebody is telling you to do something. And there's an informal and a formal, of course. The informal is tomar, not to be confused with you take in the ustedes. So toma, and the negative is no tomes, which is confusing. Why they have to have a different conjugation for the negative? Why they just don't say no toma, but they don't. And the formal imperative is tome, and the negative is no tome. So if you were being told to take the red bus, don't take the green one, how would you do that, Giselle? Use either the formal or the informal. Let's say you've asked a respectful young Spaniard who is giving you, is treating you as a senior person to be respected, and is using the formal speech.
Tome el autobús rojo, pero no tome el verde.
Good. Yeah. Perfect. And what about these sentences using tomar? Can we take this bus to get to Malaga?
Podemos tomar este autobús para llegar en Malaga.
Perfect, perfect. You could have said tomemos. In other words, we take this bus to get to Malaga. But if you said podemos, are we able to take this bus? It would make more sense as a question. So perfect. What about which train do we take for Madrid?
El tren.
We take.
What would should be?
Well,
Should.
I wouldn't. I'd ignore.
Or just tomemos.
Yeah, tomemos. Yeah.
Tomemos. Para Madrid.
That sort of should is a very English way of asking something, isn't it? Which train do we take for Madrid? Would be what the Spaniard would say. So they would just say tomamos. Yeah. Do not take the blue train. That arrives much later.
No tomes el tren azul.
See.
Llegar más tarde.
Yeah, más tarde. Or mucho más tarde, if you like.
Mucho más tarde.
There are 3 buses to Malaga. Take the one that stops at Fuengirola.
Hay 3 autobuses para Málaga. Toma el autobús. Okay, stops. Llegar a Fuengirola.
Fuengirola, yeah. Let's have a look at those. That was well done. You really got the tough one there. Podemos tomar este autobús para llegar a Málaga. So you could have said you could have done without the podemos, but it just makes it more of a sentence. This bus is masculine noun, so it's este autobús. And to get to somewhere is a really English phrase that the Spanish would say para llegar a, to arrive at Malaga. Which train should we take for Madrid? ¿Qué tren tomamos para Madrid? Is the best one. Do not take the blue train. Now we're back into the imperative mood here. Somebody's telling us which train to take or which one not to take. So, no tome el tren azul que llega mucho más tarde. And I'm in the formal mood there, not the informal. If it was the informal, we would have said no tomes el tren azul que llega mucho más tarde. It arrives. That arrives. Is what we're saying. And there are 3 buses to Malaga. Hay 3 autobuses a Malaga. Take the one that stops at Fuengirola. Tome el que. Take the one. That's a Tome el que. Se detiene en Fuengirola. The one that stops at Fuengirola. Very good. Well done. Oh dear, more and more verbs to conjugate. Jane, how are you at coger?
Oh, don't know. I don't know coger.
Let's have a go. What's
cojo.
Cojo is excellent, yeah.
tú coges.
Coges, sí.
Ella, usted coge.
Yep.
Nosotros cogemos. Vosotros cogéis. Ellas, ustedes cogen.
Cogen. Good. So you didn't know those, yeah, but you knew your endings, so you worked it out, and it's a slightly irregular one, but the pronunciation is much the same. Cojo, coges, coge, cogemos, cogeis, cogen, and you might find the gerund useful, the ing form of the verb, cogiendo. I am catching. Estoy cogiendo. We are catching the plane. Estamos cogiendo el avión. Okay, so I am catching the train at 6 on the dot. How would you say that, Jane?
Cojo el tren a 6, is it en point?
En punto. En punto.
Punto, no, it's something to do with the point. I couldn't remember how to say.
Yeah, or exactamente would be okay as well. Where will we catch the train for Bilbao?
Cuando?
No, donde.
Donde, all right.
Yeah, that's.
Donde cogemos el tren para Bilbao?
Muy bien, good. And which bus do I catch for Malaga?
¿Qué autobús cojo para Málaga?
See, and tomo works well here. So you could say, ¿Qué autobús tomo para Málaga? Which bus do I take for Malaga? So, yeah. You said cojo el tren de las 6 en punto. But estoy cogiendo or cojo is fine. In English, we use the present continuous tense all of the time, don't we? We wouldn't say I catch the train at 6. You'd say I am catching the train at 6. But in Spanish, that present continuous tense isn't used half so much. A las 6 en punto. Donde cogeremos el tren de Bilbao? Now I've used the future tense there. Where will I catch the train? But you can use the present tense. In fact, I would use the present tense. I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't use the future tense there. Like I say, anything that's happening in the next day, you can virtually use the present tense in Spanish, and it makes perfectly good sense. It's good. It's good grammar. And ¿Qué autobús cojo para Málaga? Which bus do I catch for Malaga? So we've. I didn't think we'd quite finish our verbs. So we're up to time now. So we'll carry on with this. We'll carry on with this next week. Conjugating all these verbs, what a miserable way to spend an hour. I'm ever so sorry. We'll try to make the lesson next week a bit more fun, but it's really, really important for you to spend some time learning these conjugations. I know it's dull. If you can get somebody to test you, it makes it so much easier. So if you can get your partner or your dog to test you, then so much the better. and we'll chug along. We'll chug along with these. Do some more of these next week, and we'll try and make the lesson a bit more fun next week. Although we do have quite a few more conjugations to go. But this is really useful stuff. When we're on holiday, we do want to travel around. Even if, like me, you end up in your hotel, you do want to venture out a bit. And if there's an interesting cave or an interesting market in the next village or a fiesta, you might want to catch the bus there or grab a taxi or something like that. So being able to navigate your way around is great. Any questions on today's lesson?
Okay.
No, thanks.
Excellent. Good. I'll see you all next week in that case.
Good.
Eric,
Thank you very much.
Eric,
Yes, Ian.
if you Google Playa Blanca on Lanzarote, you will find an Estación de Wawa.
Oh, really?
On the map, if you're interested, yeah.
Okay, what's that? Playa
Blanca.
Playa Blanca on in Lanzarote.
On Lanzarote, but it should just come up. It does on mine. Just Playa Blanca, and it'll take you straight there. But there are other places.
Okay, that's
and on the map, which is it's a port. If people don't know the area, and the Estación de Wawa is literally marked on the satellite map.
Right.
But I can't find out where it originated from. I was having a look.
Oh, okay.
My dictionary says it's Cuban, so maybe there's a Cuban influence.
Yeah, well,
Wawa it means baby in the Andes, but in Cuba it means the bus.
Yeah. It's interesting. You'd have thought it would go the other way from the Canaries to South America, not.
Oh well, I don't think that's the case, because I think when South America was and the Caribbean was colonized by the Spanish, a lot of the people that travel there came from southern Spain, and they're the ones that use the j rather than the y for double L. So Majorca being the classic example, and so they took that mode of speech with them, and it may well have been a sort of I don't suppose there were buses in 1480 whatever it was, 7 was it, but towards the end of the 15th century, but it probably that sort of movement of language probably carried on. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to, next time I go to the Canaries, I'm going to be looking around for a wow. Adrian, hi.
Adios.
Nos vemos la próxima semana.